Hey everyone, welcome to my loft. It's about time to do a loft tour. It's going to be a short tour because it's not a big loft, though it's actually quite a large space in the total square footage of my house. I don't use this space right now for anything specific, but I do have some plans for it and I'll let you know what those are. So stay tuned. The measurements for the loft are 104 by 118, so just over 8.5 feet and just under 10 feet. So my loft doesn't actually have furniture in it. I have some plants and a picture that is, kind of an interesting little project that I did. Otherwise, the only thing that's in here furniture-wise, I'm not sure if rug counts as furniture, but is this area rug that I brought from my townhouse. Other than the little bench that I use as a coffee table, it's the only other furniture-like piece that I brought from my townhouse. From the top of the ladder, this is the view looking down into my living room. There's my front door, couch, and the windows. You can see that the ceilings are also the stained pine board and batten, and the wall is the same finish as downstairs. They did this beautiful trim piece here. If you're wondering what this box is, it is the venting outside from the hood fan down in the kitchen. The vent for the hood fan runs along the ceiling of the kitchen, which is the floor of the loft, and then comes up here and goes outside to vent outside. And it makes a great spot for some plants. There are two windows in the loft. That one and this one. You'll notice that this one is larger and this one is a slider. The reason for two different size windows is that this one is an egress window, and for code, for safety, there had to be one egress window in the loft. And this window over here is actually an awning window, which I kind of wanted both windows to be awning, but because the builder was building to CSA code, one of them had to be egress. I wanted them both to be awning because I hopefully will be on either Vancouver Island or the interior BC at some point, and it rains. It'll likely be rainier than it is here in Calgary. And if you have awning windows that just open out, then it allows you to keep the windows open even when it's raining outside, and I kind of like that idea. But for safety's sake and to build to code, the builder had to put in a slider window, and this one's bigger obviously so that I can get out. And I think it's really important to think about these things, because if this space was being used as a bedroom, you would really want to have the safety of being able to get out in case there was a fire and you couldn't get down the ladder to exit the front door. Always be thinking about those things. Some people will also put in skylights. I don't have skylights in my loft. There were two reasons for that. The main reason was, again, I plan on eventually being in a humid climate, and I did not want another opening in the shell of the house that could potentially allow moisture in. I mean, obviously, if you go with a good builder or you do a good job building it yourself, it's not supposed to leak. But any opening in the envelope of a house is just another opportunity for moisture to get in. So that was number one. The second reason is if you were using this for a bedroom, then in the summertime, first thing in the morning, very early in the morning, you're going to have light shining in your eyes. So you'd have to get a blind, and that's more expense. That is the reason I don't have skylights, and that is the reason that there are two different size windows in the loft. You see that I have actually a fair number of plants in my house. They're all real, well, except for that flowery thing back there. That's fake, but the ivy's real. Both ivies are real. And the spider plant and all the plants downstairs are real. I didn't think I could actually grow plants. I thought I was very, very efficient at killing houseplants. Turns out I was wrong, and the tiny house gets so much sunlight, as you can see. So it's a perfect place for plants. This one's actually doing really well. I just repotted it and she's doing lovely. So I started naming my plants when I only had one or two. Stella was my first one, and then have Bert and Ernie. This little spot here is just where I keep my candle for meditation. It's not actually a real candle. And these meditation stones that I got from a friend of mine, a good friend of mine. She gave me these. And this is the perfect spot for meditation up here. So I just keep those there for when I need them. This little opening was cut so that the cat could get through into the loft from the main part of the house. I didn't want Sophie, that's my big tiny house cat, to come through my closet. That was actually originally the only opening into the loft other than the ladder, and I didn't want to keep the ladder up. And she's getting old. I didn't think she could actually get up the ladder, or maybe get up but not be able to get down. She likes to come up here first thing in the morning and then look down there at me as I'm getting her food ready and imperiously meow at me to hurry up. You'll see that there is the modem there behind that picture. That's just a good place to hide it. Okay, now for my favorite part of the loft. So this is the original opening from my closet into the loft. I had this idea when we were doing the design that I would put a picture there that would sort of camouflage the opening but act as a door. And it took me a while to find a picture that was the right size. It's not quite the right size, but it's as close as I could get. So what I did was, I've got this little latch right here and it lifts up. And I put some hinges on the frame of the picture and it just swings open, and then there is my closet. So if I ever want to slide, say I have an inflatable mattress in case I have guests or the boys want to sleep over, and it's in this little bucket here, and a pillow, an extra pillow and such, I can just slide it through the closet. I don't have to bring it around and up the ladder. That's just an extra way of getting things in and out of my closet. But I did need to have this little system here of the latch, because Sophie used to just have this Velcroed on, but Sophie managed to figure out how to pull that sucker open, and I would find her sleeping in my closet, making a nest in my clothes, which did not make Mama happy. So I had to put an end to that. And this actually worked out really well. I just bought 2 small hinges from the hardware store and that little hook, and it's perfect. And it's kind of pretty, and it's camouflaged, and it makes me happy, which I think the things in your tiny house should. I just thought I'd show you the view out of the left window in the loft. That is the ski jump at the ski hill here in Calgary. And at night, it's all lit up. It's so pretty. And then if I look down this direction, I can see the hillside. It's really very pretty. One of my favorite things to do is to come up here and read. It's nice and sunny, and I don't know, it just seems like so cozy, like being in a treehouse, which it is kind of. Nobody asked, but the book that I'm reading right now is called The Year of Less by Kate Flanders, and it's awesome. It's about a young woman's journey to stop buying things and declutter, and actually she went a year without shopping, and it just goes over her story. It's really inspirational and not a bad idea for a read when you're planning on going tiny, to just sort of get you in the mood for decluttering and minimizing your stuff and simplifying your life. I would suggest having a secondary way of getting into your loft. Not everybody can navigate a ladder, and the opening that I have through to my closet allows me to slide things in and out. For example, if somebody comes to stay and I want to slide that air mattress through and some pillows and some beddings, it's easier than having to walk all the way around. It's not that far, but around and come up the ladder. So it gives you that option. Also, if you have a pet and you want that pet to be able to have access to your loft, plan that in your design phase. I didn't think that one through, and I had to sort of retrofit. I cut that opening for Sophie to get through after I had moved in, and I think that it would have probably have been better and more efficient if I had done that during the design process, obviously. So think about that. If you have a dog, if you have a cat that you want to get into your loft and you don't want to leave the ladder up the whole time, or your animal can't handle the ladder, then think about a secondary way for them to get in that is convenient and maybe kind of hidden away, like that little opening is that I cut in for Sophie. Right now it's empty, but the goal is to have it fully set up for meditation space and leave it like that so it's ready for me at any time. Also, it will be used as a guest room for when people come to visit that don't mind the ladder. There's not much to it. It just goes to show that even though the house is so small, under 400 square feet, just over 300 without the loft, there's still unused space because I didn't need this space. It makes me feel like I haven't brought too much in, but I did want to have the loft. So here's something to consider when you're designing your tiny house. Even when you want a main floor bedroom. As you know, I have a gooseneck trailer, so my bedroom is on the gooseneck because I did not want to crawl into a loft every night for bed. And I didn't want to be on my hands and knees to make a bed. I like being able to walk around my bed when I'm making it. But I did still want to have a loft in my tiny house because it gives you the opportunity for extra storage, an extra bedroom, certainly a guest room. It allows you to have some flexibility. For instance, if somebody else were to move in here to live here that didn't mind a loft, like let's say my 27-year-old son, say he gets this house at some point. Well, he's a musician. He might want to have his bedroom up here in the loft and use the gooseneck space as a music room or studio. It allows you to some flexibility. If you haven't built in the loft, then you're going to have to retrofit, or you're definitely limited in what you can do. I think it's important to always give yourself options, and having the loft above the kitchen allowed me to have extra space that I could use for multiple things. This will be my meditation space, but it also will function as a guest room and, if necessary, for storage. I mean, the goal is not to have so much stuff that I have to fill this up for storage, but if I needed it, or if somebody else were to come into a space like this, they might have a child at home or a roommate, you would have the option because you've built in this space when you were designing your home. So that's the video. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching my videos. I have over 700 views, which kind of blows my mind, and I really appreciate it. I hope that you're finding some value in these videos, learning from the things that I've learned during the process, and maybe some of the mistakes or things that I would do differently, so that you don't have to at least make those mistakes or have to make those adjustments afterwards. I'm sure you'll find others of your own when you're designing your own tiny house. But I do appreciate it, and I would love it if you would comment, because I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to know who's watching my videos and what you think, and if you're building your own and what your dreams are. Also, it would be awesome if you could give me some idea of what you'd like me to film next, what you'd like to see on the channel. I have lots of ideas, but it's always nice to know that I'm filming something that the viewers actually want to see, and I'm happy to do that. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. I will answer every question that I can, hopefully with something very witty and knowledgeable, but I have no guarantees. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and tune in next week.